Hello, everybody. This is Mickey Lynn Larson-Olson, aka Q Patriot, January 6th, inmate 376303. And I am sitting down for my one meal of the day. I no longer eat 3 meals a day. And so my scale wasn't working for quite a while. And it's kind of weird because it measures 2 different weights. And I bought a brand new scale. So on the tile floor, it measures one thing. And on the wood floor, it measures something else. Anyway, so I had lost 28 pounds eating 1 meal a day since October 25th. When I don't have a scale, I don't monitor myself as well as when I do have a scale, and that's one thing I've learned about myself. So now it's 25 pounds. So I put on a few pounds in about a month or so. And so now when I have a scale, I can just monitor things a little more closely. So anyway, but still, I'm very proud of that. Mostly I'm proud because I'm eating healthier ingredients for my body. I still eat whatever I want. Matter of fact, I made an absolutely delicious peach cobbler. I'd never made peach cobbler before. And I made my own ice cream yesterday. So I'm just going to say that all 3 of those pounds are because of yesterday. How's that sound? Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. I'll lose it, but yeah. So I had bought a whole box of fresh peaches. A fruit truck had rolled through town from Colorado, and I love peaches. And I didn't know it was going to be like this whole box. I just thought like I'd get like 10 peaches or whatever, but it's a whole box, and I didn't want to waste any of them. So I made an absolutely delicious peach cobbler for the first time in my life. And I made some ice cream. I added some coconut to it. I also added a little bit of coconut extract to my peach cobbler. I added a little coconut extract to my ice cream. It was absolutely delicious. I'm not going to have any today, even though I really want some. It's in the refrigerator. And but yeah, it turned out amazing. The ice cream turned out amazing. It's always great to know that there's something else that I can add to the things that I'm capable of doing. One of those things is David. My life story is just really crazy. And anyway. So David moved October 5th to go take care of his mom in Nebraska. Anyone claiming I was married after September 23rd, 2010 is a liar. My divorce, I have proof, my divorce from David was effective September 23rd, 2010. Now, we did live together in our strictly platonic situation. Like I said, our story is complex. It will be in my book, but it's a complex story. And so anyway, but we lived in the same house. We raised our kids. Our kids are now on their own. My son is a nuclear mechanic in the Navy. My daughter is a nurse. We've severed ties. Let's just say that. Me and my daughter have severed ties. And she's a nurse, and well, I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist that was trying to protect my very first grandchild. My daughter is a mom. And she's a nurse, so I'm just crazy. And her husband said they don't have to listen to my crazy conspiracy theories. And so they blocked me, and I blocked them. Like, I'm not in the mood to be disrespected by anyone, least of all my children. That's just where I'm at. That's the vibe of the day. I can't remember that guy's name that says that, but he always says that. I like him. I can't remember his name. Anyways, that's the vibe. Anyway, he's great. So I don't often remember everybody's names, but I remember their messages, and I'm grateful for that. So anyway, so about so anyway, my story is weird, but yeah, I started writing my story when I was in jail for January 6th, my book, and I need to just focus on it. But right now, just trying to figure out how to take care of everything on my own is a feat in itself. Having been with David, marriage and divorce for 32 years, living in the same house, it's just, it's a bit for me to figure out how to do everything by myself. So, financially and everything. And when I went out to Washington, D.C. for the 4th of July, I got home, and there was branches from my neighbor's tree that fell in my yard, and branches from our tree that fell in the yard, branches that fell in the front yard. Anyway, so I am trying to get this mess sorted out. My lawnmower had broke, and so anyway, I'm just trying to get all these things figured out. So, but I thought I'd go ahead. Yeah, so, I don't know, you can't probably see it. I'm going to show it. I think I can show it to you. Yeah, look at my soup I made the other night. Yeah, it's still absolutely delicious. So, put some chicken in there and lots of vegetables. And I used this bone broth that, shoot, I'm so mad because I said it the other day, and I posted it on a different video what the bone broth was. It was expensive, but it's actually really good bone broth, so I went ahead and I put that in here. Anyway, I put some chicken in here, and I made some noodles. I made my own noodles. I milled my own grains from no, that's not what I used. That's what I used for my peach cobbler. I milled my own grains for my flour for my peach cobbler. That's what I use, soft white wheat. But for my noodles, I like to use kamutes, and I got that from Bob's Red Mill, and I milled that as well. So, but I am still enjoying this soup very much. And other than my video I did of my peach cobbler, I haven't been doing my 1 meal a day because I've just been enjoying my soup. It's amazing. I gave it a little kick. Oh my goodness, I gave it a little too much kick. I put some more water in there because I used 4 teeny tiny cayenne peppers, like they're tiny, from my GARDYM, because it was like bland, and I added those, and it was like, woo, yeah. If you find yourself somewhere and you're eating something that's too hot, just drink some milk, and it coats your tongue, so it won't be hot. I also harvested some of my spinach from my GARDYM that I grow in my house. Yeah, love it. And some zucchini and some carrots and celery and tomatoes, onion, garlic. What else? Mushrooms. My chief, she don't like mushrooms, though. I forgot about that when I put the mushrooms in here. They don't like mushrooms. But I like mushrooms, so I like mushrooms. I think the soup needed mushrooms because it's vegetable soup, or I would have had to waste my mushrooms because I wasn't going to have anything else to use them. Anyway, I like mushrooms. I didn't want to waste them. So, potatoes. I got some red potatoes in here. So, whenever I'm making stuff, I kind of rely a lot on Google. I'll just get ideas from Google. And so, I told Google, I said, I want to put some red potatoes in here. I said, well, that's fine. That's all good. You want to put those red potatoes in there. But don't put them in there the whole time, because I had already made it clear that I was going to be simmering this low and slow for 10 hours. So it said don't put those in there right from the get-go, because they'll just be mush. So it says 4 to 6 hours for the red potatoes. It also said if you're using dry herbs, go ahead and put those the whole time. But if you're using fresh herbs, which I used both, I used both some fresh herbs and some dried herbs. It says you put those in at the very end, along with the spinach. You just put those like a half an hour max. Your last half hour max to cook for those things. But I use both. And I used some dried and I used some fresh. And that was mainly because I had some fresh herbs I had bought that because I was going to make a chicken in a clay pot. And I didn't end up doing that, so I put them in the soup. And I'm so glad I did. And my chicken was amazing. This chicken I got from Thrive Market. I don't buy much meat from the stores anymore. Huh? They betrayed us. No. I buy a lot of my meat from Force of Nature. I like them a lot. They do regenerative farming out in Austin, Texas. Amazing. I've always been very happy with what I've gotten from them. I like to get my whole chickens from them. And also me and Roxy, my dog, Foxy Roxy, she's a German Shepherd. We love their Italian meatballs. They are amazing. So that's kind of like a snack. When I don't feel like a whole big meal, I like to eat just those little meatballs. So, because they fill me up and not very many calories. No, you can eat like 5 of them and very little calories. Anyway, like Force of Nature, I like their variety. Like I can get venison from them, pork. I can get buffalo. I mean, you can get a whole bunch of things from Force of Nature. Always been very happy with the product I've gotten from them. I'm not sponsored by anybody, just so everybody knows that. When I tell you these things, it's truly straight from the heart, because I'm not sponsored by anyone. And others, Thrive Market, I buy a lot from Thrive Market. My favorite French fries from Thrive Market that are just fries cooked in beef tallow with sea salt, and love them. And but you do have to, if you buy, you have to buy frozen items. I think it's like $60, because to make it worth their money to package them. Obviously, they don't want to sell you a bag of French fries for $5 or whatever they are, and then pay $50 to ship you those. So you do have to buy, I think it's like $60 worth of frozen foods, which is never an issue for me because I really do like them. I get my my buffalo wings, not the wings, but the just the chicken for my buffalo wings I get from them. I've always been very happy with that. But I like Thrive Market because they don't sell any ingredients that are banned in other countries, and I love that about them. So, and great customer service. So, but right now, I'm telling you what, this soup is still like, I'm not tired of it. I mean, it's perfectly salted. I mean, it's perfect. It's all kinds of healthy stuff. And my noodles. I told you about my noodles. Look at those. Those are my noodles I made by myself. It's not as hard as you might think. You can do it. You can make your own pasta noodles like this. All I do is, so good. Oh, so good. Mmm. So, I do make my pasta noodles. Well, I mill my own grains. Okay, I mill my own grains. Use whatever flag you want. But what you're buying at the store, when it says enriched, and if it doesn't specifically say it's unbleached, then it's bleached. Okay, if it's bleached. If it doesn't say, if it says enriched, that's not a good thing. That means they've taken out some good stuff. God put in our wheat and put in crap. So, quite a while ago, I bought a Nutra meal grain. Before that, I have my KitchenAid, and I've had my KitchenAid mixer for so many years. I don't know. I've had it for a long time. Both me and my daughter have used it, made so many delicious things with it. Well, they have an attachment to meal grains. I started with that, but I was increasingly hearing people were concerned about with the dough and the weight of the meal for your attachment, and I didn't want to burn out my meal. Basically, I didn't want to burn out my my KitchenAid, because I really do love my KitchenAid. And I don't know, maybe partly because my grandpa used to have a KitchenAid, and he was a baker, and he's my heart. And so maybe it's just partly that. When I use it, it makes me think of him and all the amazing things he made me with that KitchenAid, including cinnamon rolls he would bring over. And my grandpa was also in the Navy. He was in the Korean War. And just truly my heart. Anyway, but he would do that. He would make cinnamon rolls and bring them over on the weekends. And every Thanksgiving he made each of us got our favorite pie for Thanksgiving. And mine then and still now is lemon meringue. Lemon meringue remains my favorite pie. My grandpa would make it for me. And one time, my grandma Irene and my mom, they made me make it, because they said, you need to know how much work your grandfather went through to make you that lemon meringue pie every year. And it was a lot of work. So anyway, but my grandpa and my grandma Alice used to make homemade bread all the time. There was nothing like going over to their house, then pulling it out of the oven and getting fresh bread. And now I'm not, like, now my bread is not as good as my grandpa's or my grandma's, but now I make my own bread. But sadly, it's because the flour and the bread at the store, I can't trust it. Like, I look at the ingredients of any of the bread products. Like, I sat there and David moved, and I went and I wanted some burritos or tacos or something. And I pulled out the flour tortillas in the refrigerator, and I looked, and there was like all these ingredients. I was like, oh my goodness, what in the heck is this crap? And so then I started, so now I don't buy any bread products at the store. If I want it, I have to make it myself, which means I have to figure out how to make it. Recently, I made tortilla shells, both flour and corn, for the first time ever, because I was really wanting some tacos, but I can't buy that crap at the store anymore. I just can't do it. So anyway, I got my the corn mesa, the yellow corn I got from Bob's Red Mill on Amazon. The other one, I can't remember, Hacienda. It was a white corn. Anyway, I got that, made both of them. They both turned out amazing. Anyway, but it really started because I'm just disgusted by what they've done to our food and what it's doing to our bodies. So, I have a lot of friends around me that are like, have you seen what's in that crap? And my friend Kim, she's like, one time I told her I was eating ramen noodles. She thought her head was going to spin off her head. off her shoulder. She was like, no, no, no. Anyway, I just highly recommend you look at your ingredients. But I was talking about how I make my noodles, right? Look at those. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, that's my noodles. I made those. They are fabulous, aren't they? Yeah, I made them. Anyway, they are amazing. So, really good. I did good on this one. Oh, good. Okay. So, you can do your noodles with different grains. You can do it with that crap at the store. Now, sometimes I do buy some stuff, but I try to make sure at the store, like bread flour, when Steph's asking for bread flour, because I really fought with my Hawaiian sweet rolls last time. The time before they turned out amazing. Last time, nope, it was a mess. Anyway, but there are two brands. I've watched a lot of videos, and they're good, and that's King Arthur Organic. So the organic brand of King Arthur is good, and Bob's Red Mill, organic also. Organic unbleached, that's what you're looking for. If you're going to buy the stuff at the store, you might pay a little bit more, but you're looking for organic, and you don't want it to be enriched. You do not want it to be, and look at the ingredients, and it should just say wheat. It should just say like this, right? Like this, it says organic. It's organic. Soft white wheat berries. That's it. Right? It shouldn't be anything more than that, but there is more than that, because that's why when you mill your own grains, it's the healthiest option for you, because then there's nothing they're doing to try to make it to where it lasts on the shelf longer. Because it's just the berries. And I love my Nutri-Mill Harvest. I love it. And it's a stone mill. So there's two different kinds of mills, Impact and the stone mills. I prefer my stone mill, but I've never had an Impact one, so some people prefer that. Anyway, I've milled all kinds of things. I have milled popcorn into cornmeal, and that was amazing. I made my first cornbread that way. Like, I've never made like homemade cornbread before. You know, Jiffy's no good for you. Look at the ingredients. And anyway, I made it from scratch. It turned out, oh my goodness, so good. So anyway, so when I make the pasta, I milled my pasta. It's a preference. It's you go on your own preference what you like. I prefer the kamut when I'm making noodles. And one is because I feel like they taste the closest to like what a real noodle tastes like, and also they hold together better. So the kamut just holds stronger, and it's easier for me. It's easier to work with. And so this is how I do it. Because I'm using freshly milled flour, you have to do things a bit different. And one of those things is you need to let the flour soak up the liquid, because they're thirsty. So you'll just need to make sure you get enough liquid in there. So what I do is I take my wheat berries, and I put them in my harvest mill. And what you need to know about the stone mill, the harvest mill, grain mill, is that don't put the berries in first. You got to turn the machine on first and then put the berries in there. Trust me, I know, because I kept forgetting and putting the berries in there. Then you got to clean out the whole thing, and yeah, anyway, it's a mess. So anyway, just make sure you turn it on. And the thing that takes a bit getting used to with this is like the turning it, because it does have a to where you can make it really, really fine flour or not. You know, some people use this to like feed their chickens and stuff. So you just have to tighten it, tighten it, tighten it until you get it to the texture you want. Trust me when I tell you, you can get it very fine. You just have to keep twisting it. Anyway, and I use rice to clean it. So if I have any problems, like the other day, it was glazed, which basically just means you need to clean your stones. So if it stops kind of working, that's usually what it is. And so then I just run some just jasmine rice, you know, dried rice, obviously, no wet ingredients, just dried rice. I run it through there, and then it works perfect. So that's what I had to do the other day. So anyway, but I take that and I meal. Like this time I decided to meal, I had 3 cups of actual flour. So when you're dealing with freshly milled grains, you have to do it by grams. You cannot do it by a cup. You can't do it like that with fresh. You can't do it that way. Because every berry weighs different. And every berry is a different size. So you could put 1 cup of hard white wheat. It's not going to be the same amount as 1 cup of soft white wheat because the berries are different size. So you really need to do it by the grams. And that's what I did. And I said, okay. I said, Google, can you tell me how many grams a cup of kamut, how many grams that is? And it told me it's 80 to 85 grams. So that or that might have been the other one. But anyway, that's what I do. I will ask it what it is in grams if I don't have the recipe in grams, and it will tell me. So I did the flour, and then what I do is I had 3, basically it ended up being 3 cups of the actual flour, and then 3 eggs. And what you do is you take the flour, put it on your kitchen counter. I do it on my table, just most easiest for me. And then you'll make a mound of the flour, and then you'll dig a little hole in there, and you'll put your eggs in there. So it's 1 egg for each 100 grams of flour. That's what it was. 100 grams of flour. So that's the thing with freshly milled flour. Whatever your grams in your wheat is exactly how much you're going to get in your actual flour. So if it says 100 grams of flour, right, that's going to be 100 grams of whatever berry it is you're going to use, and it will come out to that. And so it was 1 egg for each 100 grams. I did 3 eggs, 300 grams. You'll put it in a mound, and you'll dig a hole. Now, if you don't have the mound high enough, well, it's probably not going to hold all your eggs, and it can go out. So just going to make it a little high, and be gentle, because you'll have to mix them up a bit. You'll mix them up a bit, and then you'll start pulling in the flour from the sides. And you can see a lot of people doing this on video. So you can see a lot of people making the pasta on video this way. And then you'll just keep pulling the egg and the flour together until it gets, until you've incorporated all that egg, and then you will knead it. This particular recipe said don't knead it in a mixer. But most of my stuff, my bread and stuff, I will mix it in the mixer because I have severe bilateral neuropathy. And so I put it in the mixer. And but this one said strictly to knead it by hand. It was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. So I kneaded it by hand for about 10 minutes. But before I kneaded it by hand, I got it all together, got it in a good consistency, and I let it sit and soak in all that egg. And so I knew how much water I would need to get it to the right consistency that I needed. And it ended up being like 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. But that's what I do. And so, but before I need it, I will get it all together, and then I will wrap it. It says wrap it tightly with some plastic wrap. I don't really like to use plastic wrap or aluminum foil. This particular recipe I did. And then I let it sit for half an hour. And then I kneaded it for 10 minutes. And then after that, I let it sit for another half an hour. And then what I do after that is I roll it out with my rolling pin to about 1/8 of an inch, like roll, and then I use a pizza cutter and I cut little strips. And when you go to cook them, you'll have your water. It needs to be boiling. It needs to have like a bunch of salt in there. You want a bunch. I use sea salt or Celtic salt. I no longer use table salt because they strip the nutrients, the minerals out of it. I use either sea salt or Celtic salt. And so I put that in there, let it get to a boiling. And then you're only going to need to cook your noodles 3-4 minutes. Not very long. Oh, and one other thing I do when I'm cooking the noodles. So as I'm cutting my noodles to make the strips, I have like my flour off to the side. I have some extra flour. I'll put it, and I'll put that flour front and back. I'll flour up the noodles. That way they don't stick together, because boy, that's a mess, and I've already done that, learned that, so you don't need to make that mistake. So just flour them up really good, and then I put them off to the side in like a bowl or whatever. You can do a plate until I'm all done. And then because you put that flour on there, your noodles will not stick when you put them in the boiling water either. So that's a good little bit of advice for you. And then 3-4 minutes later, and they are just perfection. And until you actually eat them and you've made them, you won't understand the difference. Okay, you just won't understand how much healthier it is, because this is real food. So real food, it fills you up faster. So this is real food, real wheat. Fills you up quick. So yeah, it turned out amazing. And but I don't know how to make like elbow macaroni or rotini or any of those fancy noodles, okay? But I have found a brand that I'd like you to check out for yourself that I really like. And that is Three Farm Daughters. So Three Farm Daughters only has wheat. Only wheat. And it's amazing. I used it for baked ziti recipe I used it for. Even though I didn't have ziti noodles, I used rotini, and I used it for my mac and cheese with ham that I made recently. It turned out amazing. So look into Three Farm Daughters. They're amazing. And I'm not tired of the soup yet. Like, I'm really not. That's one thing that's good about it just being me. Most of my family, if I get them to eat leftovers one day, I've done good. I mean, I couldn't eat them until it's all gone. But like, my kids didn't like leftovers. I grew up on leftovers, I guess, part of it. But anyway, still loving my vegetable soup with some noodles I made from freshly milled flour, and some red potatoes, and just all kinds of vegetables and chicken, and just so, okay. One of the reasons I decided to drop in on tonight, even though I'm still just eating my absolutely delicious soup, my vegetable soup with potatoes and noodles and chicken, um, is because I am happy, 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 happy today. Because a lot of people don't know, but me and my daughter have severed ties because she is a nurse, and I won't shut up about the dangers of the vaccines. And her husband said they don't need to listen to my crazy conspiracy theories. And my first grandchild, she was born December 31st, 2024. And I haven't seen her since the Super Bowl 2025. They live 15 minutes away. I only know they live at Dyess Air Force Base. I've never been to their home. And I've just gotten to the point where I'm just not interested in being disrespected by anyone, least of all my kids. She can go raise her child however she wants, and but as her grandma, I did everything I could to try to protect my grandchild, and that's the only thing I can live with, is that I've done everything I could to try to protect her. Anyway, I'm just really happy because did you guys see President Trump and Robert Kennedy Jr., who I think is probably the best cabinet person we've ever had. I really do think he's doing an amazing job. And so, anyway, they have done an executive order on vaccines to take the vaccines down to 11 and to break up the MMR vaccine into 3 separate vaccines, taking the vaccines down from like 70, 92 down to 11, like all the other countries. Peer countries is what President Trump calls them, peer countries, and breaking up how often they're doing these, because they're pressuring the parents to do these vaccines, 5, 6, 7 vaccines at one time. And the reason they're doing that is because the pediatricians only get their bonuses if they, and there are hundreds of $1,000 bonuses they get every year, but only if they have a certain percentage of their patients vaccinated, or I call quaccinated. So if they don't have that, then they lose out on that money. So they try to get the parents, pressure the parents to get all those vaccines. They don't care about the safety of the children. They don't even know what the ingredients are in the vaccines. If you go to your pediatrician and say, can you please tell me what the ingredients are in my vaccines? They don't know. They have no clue. Go ask them. Don't trust me. Tell them you want to see the package insert. They won't tell it to you because it has the real dangers. Every single vaccine has death as a possible side effect. Not just the COVID. Every single vaccine on this schedule has death as a possible side effect. Don't take this down, YouTube. You can't take it down just because you're stupid and you don't know these things. You can't take it down, because if you're going to take it down and call it misinformation, then you need to actually go look at the information yourself, and you'll see I'm not giving you misinformation. I'm not dispensing medical advice here. I'm telling everybody to get informed, including you, YouTube. Before you take my videos down and call it misinformation, maybe you should go and look at all the vaccine inserts like some of us have. I am a certified medical assistant, by the way. I did get a degree as a medical assistant. I'm not dispensing medical advice, but I'm dispensing the truth, and you should be ashamed of yourself for allowing children to get killed because you silenced the truth from us. You silenced the truth, and children died because of you, because you call our truth misinformation because you're stupid. That's right. So take my videos down. Remove me from YouTube. I don't care. You will not silence me. But you will have to answer to God for all of these children dying because you refuse to allow us to share information, factual information, and let them decide what's best for themselves and their children. And you're going to have to answer to God. You make me so mad. And you destroy my relationship, my grandchild, because I'm telling the truth. Anyway, yeah, they'll probably remove me. I don't care. So, anyway, I wanted to come on and say that I'm so happy that President Trump has done this executive order and to bring us more in line, because it's all about the money for them. It's all about the money, and they want our children sick because that makes permanent customers. So it's not the money they get selling the vaccines, okay? It's the money they get from making your children sick for the rest of their lives so that they can get money from the medicine for your children. So they get them sick with these vaccines. None of them have been double placebo tested. Not a single one has been double placebo tested. Okay? And then, oh yeah, they're going to kick me off. I don't care. I'm going to just keep telling the truth, everybody. I'm going to keep telling the truth, and they can keep kicking me off. I just don't care. I got to answer to God and my Lord Jesus. And that means I have to tell the truth. That's what I'm going to do, because that's my mission here in this world, is to just seek and share the truth. And that's what I'm going to do. Because I don't want the death of a single child to weigh on my heart, because I stayed silent, especially my own grandchild, my first grandchild. I just couldn't do it. So I'm not going to stay silent. And so I just pray. That's all I do. I pray for my granddaughter, Ellie Jo, and my daughter. And I pray God will bring the truth to my daughter and wake her up. Because she don't trust her own mother, who's never lied to her. Anyway, telling you what. Am I making everybody want vegetable soup? I know it's summer. Doesn't matter. I don't have heat or air in my house. That's why I'm sweating. You just see me, I'm sweating. I don't have heat or air in my house. I have fans. Did I tell you I have carrots in here? Carrots? That's all amazing. Speaking of food, another amazing thing. Secretary, is it Brooks? I think her name is Brooks. Is that first name or last name? I think it's the last name. She's the Secretary of Agriculture. And so she's responsible for like the food programs, including the food at the schools. She's responsible for that. So, grateful for Robert Kennedy Jr., her and President Trump, because now no more processed foods at the school lunches. No more processed food with the school lunches. For the first time in 10 years, our children and our troops, by the way, they brought it up there a while back. So, I was in the military 21 years. But, they had this pyramid upside down. So they have people eating a lot of carbs and very little meat and all this stuff. They had it upside down. Now they twisted it upside down. So anyway, now it's right side. So now the troops are getting their food, and the hospitals, and I guess they're working on the hospitals and the jails and the prison. Many of you know I'm a January 6th inmate, so I'm really happy that they're going to be actually feeding real food to the prisoners and at the hospitals, because I was in medical isolation because I refused to take the COVID test. So 51 days, I was in isolation. 49 of those days, I was not allowed out of my cell for a single second. No showers, couldn't make any phone calls. I couldn't order anything, even what I needed to clean my own teeth. And in the entire 161 days I was in jail, I was only allowed to go outside 4 times. So anyway, but yeah, it was a misdemeanor, Washington D.C. unlawful entry public charge. The judge asked me if I had anything to say. I said, if jail is what I get for fighting for we the people of the United States, for America, Republic, then take me to jail. So he slammed his gavel and he said, she obviously has no remorse and she would do it again. 180-day max sentence, unlawful entry public. So I refused to take the COVID test. They told me I was going to be in my cell for the whole 180 days. I said, I guess that's what God wants from me then. Because I had heard, they asked me, they'd always ask me, the guards, the lieutenants, the medical director for the jail, they'd all ask me, why won't you just take the test? So I'd start, telling them all the reasons, right? Starting with the fact that Dr. Kerry Mullis is the one that created the test, and he said he didn't diagnose a damn thing. And he called Fauci as a fraud. So I saw that. I knew far too much truth January 6th. I had been through too much before January 6th for years digging at truth. I knew too much. So I told the police officer he'd go out to shoot me dead because I wasn't walking down those stairs. I had people coming up to me telling me that a female Air Force combat war veteran named Ashley Babbitt had been shot and killed by the Capitol Police. So I told him he'd have to shoot me dead. That was the hill I was willing to die on. I almost got blown up twice in Iraq over BS concocted by our own government and our so-called allies. I wasn't walking down those stairs. So 6 police officers carried me down the stairs. Well, judge is right. I would do it again. I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And it is with my whole heart and soul I truly believe we have politicians inside of our capital that are domestic enemies to our republic, masquerading as our representatives. And if you needed to see that, look at what the Senate just did. Those pieces of freaking dog shit, okay? Okay, so just so you know, you need to go look at the Brunson case and see all the Congress people and all the senators that certified the fraudulent election of 2020. Go look at what they are. Oh, John Thune with his nose so far up the bushes ass. John Thune, yeah, he certified the fraudulent election of 2020. And what'd they do? They voted for him behind closed doors with a secret ballot. And he was Mitch McConnell's little butt boy. Where's Mitch McConnell? Really? We still haven't seen any. We don't buy these pictures. We're awake now, so we don't buy these pictures. So where's Mitch McConnell? He's just waiting so they don't have the special election. That's all about. That's what it's about, the special election. So anyway, so you had Tom Tillis, certified the fraudulent election of 2020. Susan Collins, certified the fraudulent election of 2020. Lisa Murkowski certified the fraudulent election of 2020. Rand Paul certified the fraudulent election of 2020. There's a whole bunch of them. And because they did that election for speaker with a secret ballot behind closed doors, so that those senators that voted for him cannot be held accountable for electing him. And most of them certified the fraudulent election of 2020. And now you know why they don't want the Save America Act. They hate President Trump and they hate MAGA. They do. They hate us. And they prove it. They went on vacation. They just had a vacation, 4th of July weekend. They just had a vacation. They went on vacation. 37 days they went on vacation instead of doing an act that not only Republicans, but Democrats in our nation also want. Okay? They have done everything they can to stop President Trump and MAGA, and they prove it all the time. They're not doing what we mandated, all the things we mandated, they're not doing any of it. Anyway, I know I talk too much, not holding anybody captive here. You know, one of the reasons why I started doing this, and my very good friend Danielle Ray Clark, she said I needed to bring people along for my health journey. And sadly, Danielle Ray Clark, my very good friend, my Dallas Proxmanian sister, took her own life April 17th of this year, 2026. She was a veteran in the Navy, and she became a sad statistic, and that is that 17 to 18 veterans take their lives every single day. And so I'm going to keep doing this for her. And also, maybe I've given you a little tips, like maybe I'll help you a little bit and inspire you in some sort of way. And maybe it'll make you something yummalicious yum yum. So yeah, this soup is yummalicious yum yum for sure. Mm-hmm. It really is so good. Really good. And so, but this is also another reason is because this may be the only way my precious granddaughter Ellie Jo ever gets to know me. And so I hope, if nothing else, I'll teach her how to make something, just like how my grandparents inspired me. I'm hoping I can inspire her. And again, this is Mickey Lynn Larson-Olson, a.k.a. Q Patriot, January 6th, inmate 376303, where we go one, we go all. The best is yet to come. Good night, y'all. God bless. If you haven't checked out Elon Musk, one last thing. If you haven't checked out Elon Musk, he reposted an amazing Q video today. It's phenomenal. Please go check it out, especially if you're in Anon. Go check out. He reposted it to his 241 million followers. So he has reposted Q stuff before, but this one was amazing. So God bless you all. Have a great night.